Here's Whoopi Goldberg. I guess she finally, was a woman of her word and finally announced she left Twitter. Hey, Whoopi, why don't you do America Next?
Bold journalist.
But Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
Exposing lawlessness.
Hernandez, who is ideological.
Finding the truth.
And use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
Battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
What's going on, thought criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I am your host, Drew Hernandez. The night before the midterm elections, will they be legitimate? Will they be rigged? We will see. The madness is raging on and continuing. Just want to bring you guys back up to speed. The media propaganda is continuing to flood the airwaves, social media, everywhere you look, and these evil leftists are just spawning out of nowhere, and the leftist agenda seems to be collapsing in front of our eyes. On top of the madness, Twitter is cracking down on the mentally ill Kathy Griffin. On Twitter, not for free speech, that's what they're trying to say, but for impersonation, which is a crime, and we'll get into that in the real world as well. And sexual indoctrinators are coming out full force. They're not backing down at all when it comes to coming after your children. We have some insane videos to show you all today, so stay tuned. And also, I will be on Timcast IRL live tomorrow night for election night coverage with the great Tim Pool and the gang. You can find it on YouTube. Join us at 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Election night. Go to youtube.com/TimcastIRL. I will see all of you beautiful people there tomorrow night. My name is Drew Hernandez, and you are now on the front lines. Well, here's some breaking news. Very interesting timing. Breaking news, Joe Biden was involved in his son Hunter's foreign business deals. A whistleblower has come forward claiming that Hunter and then VP Biden were part of a group call to discuss online gambling venture in Latin America. Joe Biden was involved in his allegedly son Hunter's foreign business deals while he was vice president. A new whistleblower with direct knowledge claims the informant says they were on a 2012 conference call involving Joe Hunter, his business partner, Jeff Cooper, late Senator Harry Reid, and his son, Key Reid. Wow. You know what's crazy about this as well is, this stuff continues to come out, but will anything be done? Will the right do anything? Will they go after them legislatively? Is this impeachable? This is kind of like an abuse of power. Will there be any investigations? Will there be anything done? Like they went after Trump for nothing but hoaxes? And obviously the answer to that question is no, but we will see where this goes. We need investigations. This is impeachable, but we know that the deep state will cover all this stuff up because that's all they ever do. And speaking of the deep state, not just politicians, but the fake news media cartel is in overdrive. Right now, when you turn on the news, when you're on social media, they're all saying the same thing. The left is all in unison saying the same thing. It's going to take too long to count the votes tomorrow night. Just letting you guys know, you're going to see a delay in the counting of the votes, and in all the swing states, by the way. They're all proclaiming this. They're preparing the masses for their narrative with their propaganda. Even Chuck Todd on NBC saying the same thing. It's highly likely we will not know the full results on election night. Take a look.
Even though we're all counting down to Tuesday, let's be realistic. It's highly likely we will not know the full results of the midterms on election night. In fact, by 6 a.m., the day after Election Day 2020, look at all the battleground states where we were not at 95%, let alone 99%, right? Look, Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, we should at least know where these are trending. We should know if Georgia's in a runoff by 6 a.m. But look at the problem here. Pennsylvania, 78%. New Hampshire, just 75% reporting. Arizona, Nevada. The states that are going to decide this majority, we're not going to know the day after the election.
Oh, of course. Of course. We're not going to know. This is the new election normal. Post-2020, they want every single one of you to believe, and we all know why. Charlie Kirk tweeted this yesterday, which I thought was spot on. CBS, why the 2022 midterm election results may not be known right away. Washington Post, we likely won't not know all the midterm election results on Tuesday night. New York Times, why early results on election night may be misleading again. Looks like MSM got the memo. Of course, but they're not only going with that propaganda, they're not only going with that narrative that is setting people up to believe that it's going to take a little longer for obvious reasons. Our whole electoral system is changing all of a sudden, so just keep voting by mail. They're also going with an interesting narrative as well. Politico put this up, saying the 2020 presidential election was rife with allegations of voting machine hacks that were later debunked. Yet, there are real risks that hackers could tunnel into voting equipment and other election infrastructure to try to undermine Tuesday's vote. Which narrative will they go with? Which narrative will the fake news media cartel go with post tomorrow night? I don't know. If by some miracle we get a legitimate election and we get to see the reality of where this country is going, maybe they'll go into overdrive and all of a sudden they'll be the election deniers. They'll be the ones that say there's fraud everywhere. And just like they did with Trump post 2016, where election fraud was their main narrative, Russia collusion, everything was rigged, but all of a sudden, no. When we have some legitimate evidence coming out of trucks pulling in at 3 a.m. in the morning, they're pulling boxes of ballots during the middle of the night when they think nobody's watching, and then running them through machines, and then they try and say no one can talk about it, and they silence anybody that claims election fraud, and anyone that has legitimate evidence of that, the narrative in the simulation shifts. Will they shift it again after Tuesday night? We will see. But at the end of the day, these are the propagandists, and they want to manipulate the masses because that is what they do. Speaking of manipulators, which is pretty interesting, but unelected Governor Kathy Hochul was slammed by MSNBC anchor for the crime surge in New York City. Now, this is a very interesting clip. I think a lot of people were shocked that this actually took place, happening on MSNBC. Take a look.
But I'm going to interrupt you then. Here's the problem. We don't feel safe. You might be working closely with Mayor Adams. You may have spent a whole lot of money, but I walk into my pharmacy and everything is on lockdown because of shoplifters. I'm not going in the subway. People don't feel safe in this town. So you may have done these things, but right now we're not feeling good. We're worried we could be San Francisco.
I don't know if she was saying that, speaking hypothetically in, the third person of someone else. Either way, it's absolutely true. And that individual doesn't live in reality and doesn't understand that everything is falling apart, which is all by design from the top down. We all know that the social destruction and restructure is coming from the World Economic Forum, including our values and law and order. I mean, this is how you know these people are in denial. Here's a Governor Kathy Hochul supporter choking a woman protester at one of her campaign stops.
You can deny science. You can deny those who seek to vote. You can deny an election like those individuals. And we say hell no.
Oh, it's the right-wingers that are the violent ones. Just don't pay attention to any of that. Well, I mean, these people, man, where do they get these people? Like, you couldn't pay actors. You couldn't even script this any better. Here's this very interesting, I'll leave it at that, very interesting individual outside of a Governor Gavin Newsom event at LBCC. Let's just play the clip. Take a look.
Kill yourself! Hey! I may be fat, but at least I'm not a white supremacist!
Okay.
All you are fat! All you are fat! All you are fat! Literally all of you back there are fat! To me, it's about giving, not getting permission.
Calm me down. Okay. I'm done raging. I'm done. These people are so mentally unstable. It's wild, dude. They go to 0 to 100 to 100 to 500 back to 1 when they need to go back to their safe space because their mental illness is all over the place. I mean, it's and the jiggling. It's just total daddy issues because these people probably didn't get enough attention when they were little. So there they are running around, jiggling their disgusting bodies that nobody wants to see. I don't know. Where do we get these people? Where do these people come from? I mean, these are the people that vote, unfortunately. These are the people that vote, and it is totally a disgrace. Is God trying to tell us something, you guys? Do you think God is trying to tell us something? I don't know. This viral clip of John Fetterman attempting to speak at a rally and American flags just being pushed over by the wind. I don't know. What do you guys think? Take a look.
I'm running to serve Pennsylvania.
My God, dude. It's just prophetic, man. If there was anything that was prophetic in nature, it is that clip right there. 100% the fall of the United States behind an individual that has no idea how to speak. Some people are actually saying, this dude, John Fetterman, actually makes President Biden look pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Well, speaking of some violence that's continuing, this was breaking over the weekend. The FBI was called to Kari Lake's campaign office after staff received suspicious white powder in 2 envelopes with threatening messages. The FBI swooped on Republican Arizona governor candidate Kari Lake's campaign offices on Saturday night over the weekend after staff received suspicious white powder. Law enforcement was at the offices in Phoenix from 10 p.m. Saturday night to 5 a.m. Sunday morning after Lake's team was sent these 2 envelopes with the substance and abusive messages, which they considered attacks. Her campaign believes there was a terrorist attack trying to intimidate Kari and the campaign staff. They deployed a hazmat team, bomb squad, because we all know that it's not the left that's violent, it's the right that's violent. And I wonder if the left is going to condemn this. Of course they're not. You want to know why? Because they're all for it. They're all okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can intimidate people. That's the new normal post-2020. You can be a domestic terrorist if you're on the left, but you can't even hurt somebody's feelings if you're a conservative. My God, if you say something offensive and you're a conservative, you are pretty much a domestic terrorist here in the United States of America. Gaslighting, narrative shifting, that is who these people are. Well, speaking of the clown world, we have a lot coming up, so don't go anywhere. Right now, share all the links, subscribe if you're on Rumble, and also we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcast. Just search it, share all the links, commit all kinds of thought felonies right now. Shout out to the Getter Chat as well. Drawing our attention to what's going on social media, Twitter, the digital public square, and the war between Elon Musk and the tyrants. Elon Musk has been banning impersonation accounts without parody label on Twitter, raising questions about free speech commitment. That's what they're saying. Okay, they're coming out and they're saying, "Oh, it's violating our free speech because you're not letting us impersonate people." Okay, well, he makes it very clear he's all for comedy, and he makes it very clear that if you put in your bio, this is a parody account, you're fine, but that's not what these people are doing. You legally cannot impersonate another human being. You will go to jail for that. That's not free speech. You cannot take the identity of another person. But I mean, the left, do they, abide by laws? No, of course not. They think they're above the law and they could set whatever they think is reality because that's who they are. After several celebrity and other high-profile Twitter users changed their account's appearance to mimic the social network's new owner, Elon Musk, he called for a swift crackdown and has banned many, including the psychopath. Do we have that still? Kathy Griffin, dude. Kathy Griffin has lost her Twitter account, not because of what she said or she said something that Elon was offended by. No, because of impersonation. That is quite literally illegal, and that is what she has been continuing to do. But Kathy wasn't going away with a fight. The mentally ill don't go away with a fight. Kathy Griffin clapped back, son. Kathy Griffin clapped back, defying Twitter ban by using late mother's account. This is so insane. Using her late mother's account, calls Elon Musk an a-hole and a hack. She said, "I'm tweeting from my dead mother's account." Kathy announced from the Maggie Griffin Twitter page, she would not mind. These people, dude, these people have no conscience at all. Just zero. It's gone. It's void. They don't care. They don't care. They are just, they're so obsessed, right? They're so obsessed with themselves because they have to be seen. They have to be heard. Their voice is the only one that could be heard. I mean, even Whoopi Goldberg. Here's Whoopi Goldberg. I guess she finally, was a woman of her word and finally announced she left Twitter. Would you look at that? Whoopi announces she's leaving Twitter. To everyone, thanks for everything. Till we meet again. Love, Whoop. She also announced this on her ridiculous show that nobody watches, The View, so that's why I'm telling you guys about it. But hey, Whoopi, why don't you do America Next? How about you do America Next? Okay, yes, leave Twitter because you're an idiot. Next, leave The View, okay? And how about next you leave the United States of America? Because, I mean, that's what you were claiming at first, that you're going to leave the country if President Donald Trump gets elected. Oh, Adolf Hitler's back and everything's going to be fascist. It never happened. Why are you still here? If you hate America so much, why don't you leave? Just like you hate Twitter. Get out of here. Go live somewhere else. Nobody wants you here because you're a loser and you're annoying and nothing you say makes any sense and people are sick of it. And you're a disgrace to women and black women at that. You want to know why? Because you make them all look bad. That's what you do. You make them all look bad. So why don't you just leave, Whoopi, and do everyone a favor? I mean, it just never ends with these people, man. I mean, and they're not letting up when it comes to the children at all. I mean, even though the polls are all saying the same thing, that Hispanics, white people, black people, all people are just really getting sick of this grooming stuff. But here is a clip, a very interesting clip from an IG account called Feminist that posted and praised the clip of what they called a 5-year-old legendary Charlie, a little girl. She's explaining the anatomy of female genitalia as a doctor in the video reacts in this creepy and bizarre approval. Take a look.
Hi, this is a vulva. A lot of people call it the vagina, but the inside of here is the vagina. This is the outer labia and this is the inner labia. This is the clitoris. Vulvas can come in different kinds of shapes and of sizes and of colors. And they're all normal and they're all beautiful.
Yes, let's groom the little kid. Yay, let's groom. We love grooming. Yay. Can you see the little girl in the video? She's like constantly looking over to somewhere else. She's obviously reading a script. Little girl has no idea what she's saying. But they sexualized her because now they got her thinking about female genitals all the time. And there the groomers are in the video. Yay, yay, little girl. Yay, let us continue to groom you. It's so awesome. I mean, the war on children is continuing to rage on, and they're not letting up. Here's the director of the gender health program at a Minnesota Children's Hospital, okay, saying kids can now say they are transgender from the moment they can talk. I don't know. Take a look.
So let's start with how kids understand gender identity. Well, from the age of about 2, kids can understand gender differences. Now, this is mostly based on physical characteristics and anatomy as they sort and put people into categories, boys and girls, mommies and daddies. Kids at 2 are actually very good at putting things into categories, and they're very concrete and binary thinkers. So this is a fun and easy task for them. As they move into age 3 and 4, they then begin to figure out where they fit. They've seen the categories and they're turning the lens inward to discover where they fit in the categories that have been explained to them, most of which are boy and girl. Now, they often develop more sophisticated understanding of physical characteristics and anatomy around this time, and they're often not shy about sharing their discoveries with us. They may exclaim, "I'm a girl and I have a vagina." And that may happen in the pediatrician's office or in the checkout line at the grocery store. They have figured out their place in the world and they are claiming it. It shouldn't surprise you then that some transgender kids are also claiming their identities as young as 3 and 4 years old. They know the categories, they know how they should feel inside based on their anatomy, And they also know that the way that they see themselves doesn't line up with other people's expectations. From as young as some kids can talk, they're explaining to their parents the truth about their identities.
Yeah. You know, I know that's a TED Talk, but isn't it interesting? Like they're up there, like they're Steve Jobs unveiling the next iPhone for Apple when they're talking about your children and genital mutilation and your child just being totally warped in their mind. And, oh, this is the advancement of humanity. And, you know, your little child, as young as they can talk, they know whether they're trans or not. And if that leads to them wanting puberty blockers, it's insane. That's who these globalists are. They believe that they are overlords of humanity, even your own children. That's how sick and twisted they really are. I mean, it only gets worse, man. I mean, here's this woke-tard dude all over TikTok explaining that her animal spirits are what dictate her gender. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is real.
A question that I don't feel like has been addressed as well as it could is, does being Etherean affect your gender? I personally think it can. I think it absolutely can. If not gender, then your expression of what would be considered masculinity or femininity. For me personally, my stereotypes have specific genders in terms of what I think they were in past lives. And the overarching animal spirits, sort of, if they give off masculine or if they give off feminine energy. For me personally, my wolf stereotype is masculine, my cat stereotype is feminine, and my northern pike stereotype is masculine. So I personally feel more masculine when I am connecting with wolf and more feminine when I am connecting with cat. And when I say wolf and cat, I'm referring to the animal spirits themselves. I'm not referring to like my stereotype directly, because your stereotype is a part of you, but I am referring to the overarching animal spirits of that specific species or stereotype.
Like, totally next level, man. Just total next level mental illness, like through the roof. It's like, not only do I identify my, like, let's like think through that. I determine my gender through not only an animal, but I determine whether I'm masculine if I'm a wolf for one day, and not only the animal, but the spirit of a wolf, and I might determine I'm feminine for one day if I'm feeling like a cat, but not the cat, the spirit of a cat. Dude, like, this is who votes. This is who wants to control your children. This is who wants to control your country. This is what we are up against. This is who we are up against. The mentally ill want to be in positions of power. They want to dictate your children. They want to dictate your school boards. They want to dictate your media. They want to dictate your mind. They want to dictate your life. These are the people that have lost their minds, that think that they are above you, and they are not. Resist, resist, resist. I hope every single one of you have an amazing night. I hope tomorrow goes really well and that these people see that they are not advancing, but we'll see if we get a legitimate election or not, because we both know that the deep state is on full alert and they are moving forward with full force. My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the Frontlines, and I will see you guys on the next one.
We must play offense. Game on.
You expect the rest of the world to live in La La Land. We're not.
We've been saying these things from day one.
Our solemn vow to you: be good, be brief, be gone.
You might find yourself changing your opinion on things you've never even thought twice about. That really sets America apart.
You are not ready for season 2. This is Reloaded.
My life, tale, and my truth has been to fight socialism.
Are you familiar with structural racism?
Yeah, it's a myth.